Grade 12, choice 2, first half an hour.
Oh, and the date?
What's the date today? 22nd of June.
Okay, right. I'm just talking to myself in the front here. You just carry on burbling, whatever. Okay, right. Terribly, terribly, terribly important that you listen very carefully today and that you make sure that you learn this work today. If you don't and you mess up from here on, well, I'm sorry. Okay, so, yes, okay, so remember that, and I'm doing something aside from genetics quickly, remember that all, in the case of mammals, all females are XX, and in the case of males, they are XY. If one considers which particular chromosomes. Trish, go. William. The gonosomes. Okay. Right, so considering the gonosomes, females are XX and males are XY. Mammals. Not all organisms. So if you get an example like some of the snakes, I think have got the other way around, just be very careful that you read the information that they give you carefully and that you don't default to females XX. Sit still, you little nanas. Stop it. Enough. You've got a half an hour and you guys are 10 minutes into the lesson and still farting around. Now sit still.
I'm sitting still.
Not you. Taylor's laughing. I see farting. Imagine a teacher saying words like that. Hey, it's the better one of my F words. The fallopian tube one is just appalling. Okay, right, going. Okay, which means that if one considers having children, okay, so a female crossed with a male, if one now makes it into almost like a genetics cross, all of the gametes that come from a female are going to have X. Half of the gametes that come from a male into the lesson.
I'm sorry, I literally was here now, and then I went to the bathroom and you were still setting up with bonga. Look, all my stuff right here, like I was here.
So that's still no reason to be 10 minutes late for the lesson. You just take break. That's when you went to piddle.
Ma'am, we had 2 lessons before break. Yeah, I mean after break.
No, not a whole hour.
Yes.
Are you going to be really good in your 4-hour varsity exams?
Ma'am, I literally...
4-hour varsity exams. In fact, one of my varsity exams was 6 hours. 6.
That's a whole day.
Okay, right, moving on. Okay, right, so if one considers the offspring from this, okay, 50% chance of a girl child, 50% chance of a boy child. And remember, it doesn't matter how many children this couple have, every single time it is 50% chance of a girl, 50% chance of a boy. If they have had 3 girls already, well, what a blessing. They still have 50% chance of having a girl next time round. Okay. Who knows a family which has got like 3 girls, no boys?
Yeah.
Who knows a family that's got 3 boys, no girls? Okay. See, it's statistic, it's probabilities. Okay,
Mathematics.
it's mathematics. Right, you're happy with this? You understand that? Okay. So now you've got to realize that this puts a little bit of a spanner in the works when one considers normal genetics problems. Okay, so no writing, you're all sitting dead still and you're listening carefully to me. So, let's consider what is known as a sex-linked gene. Now, every gene is associated with a particular chromosome. And so, when that chromosome goes in a particular direction or becomes part of a particular gamete, then that gene is linked to that chromosome. So if one considers a gene that is on chromosome 14, then it's 14 linked. In other words, it's linked to number 14. And so when chromosome 14 moves, so does this gene move with chromosome 14. So when one considers genes that are on the sex chromosomes, when the sex chromosome moves, so does that gene. And so the correct scientific term is sex-linked genes. Okay, or autosomal linked genes. But here we're just going with sex-linked genes. Okay, so let's consider a gene which is found on the X chromosome. Now the problem is the Y chromosome doesn't have an equivalent gene. You understand that? So, if one considers the gene for normal color vision, the gene for normal color vision is found on the X chromosome. And here, you write the symbols differently. This is the only time you write the symbols like this. Okay. So, the gene for normal color vision is found on the X chromosome and it's capital N. So you don't just write capital N. You must write it's on the X chromosome and it's capital N. Because it's sex-linked. And it's going to work a little bit differently from the other gametes, from the other genes. Okay. Versus the opposite is the gene for red-green color blindness. And the gene for red-green color blindness is X to the little n. So again, it's on the X chromosome and it's little n. Okay, the Y chromosome has no equivalent gene. So if one looks at a female in this context, that female can either be X big N, or I shouldn't have said either because there are three options. In which case, this female has normal color vision. Or she can be, in which case she has normal color vision. Don't you dare do ditto marks. Or she can be like that, in which case she is red-green colorblind. A male is X big N, Y. Or X little n, Y. And Y has no equivalent allele on it. So you don't write anything on the Y. Okay. Tell me about this male's vision in terms of color. William?
Oh, ma'am, I was going to ask a question, but
Good. No, don't.
this normal.
Normal color vision. Okay, you're happy with that. And gender is obviously male. Okay, and this one?
Colorblind.
colorblind. Red, green, colorblind. Just be careful, there are different forms of colorblindness. They're not all the same. Okay. From whom does this male inherit his colorblind gene?
You don't know.
I do.
Maybe you know your parents.
What does he get from his father?
Oh,
What does he get from his mother? Gets it from the mother.
Makes sense.
Because, and now I'm running a bit out of space. So, Amu and Julia, no, Ruth. It's your job at the end of the lesson to switch off the heater next to you.
There's a heater.
Where?
Next to Amu.
Wow.
So let me do this quickly.
What?
It's just a plug at the top. Yeah. There. Okay. Puppet, I'm going to write the answer here. Okay, but I can't do it any bigger than that. And so, remember that the mother is XX and the father is XY. And therefore, it can only be X coming out of that parent, and it can only be Y in terms of determining gender. So a female child always gets one X from the mother, one X from the father, and a male child always gets the Y from the father and the X from the mother. And therefore, if one looks at this and looks at a colorblind male, he can only get that X from the mother because he gets the Y from the father. Does that make sense? Okay, all right. Tabzi.
Ma'am, does that whole color, like, with that thing, does it all change when it's like one of those guys with like 2 Y chromosomes and stuff?
Oh, yeah, we're not considering that. I just need to go to Julia and then William and then, because that was a sequence.
I
Yeah.
thought women couldn't be colorblind. I thought they carried it.
You tell me if a woman can't be colorblind.
Well, I
No, I'm saying she can, but it's unlikely she's going to get one allele from the mother, one allele from the father to be colorblind. It's just less likely to happen. Okay, William.
So if a female is colorblind, you don't know if it's from the mom or the dad also. Because you get.
If a female is,
Yeah.
no, she's got to get one from the father and one from the mother.
Oh, so you know it's both.
Yep.
Okay.
Both parents be raised.
So if both the mom and the dad have the gene, have a colorblind, is the child now extra colorblind?
Extra colorblind.
No, so it's not degrees of colorblindness, but the child will be colorblind. Is it possible for a male to be a carrier in terms of red-green colorblindness?
On the X chromosome, isn't it? The way he holds it up. Yes.
Yes.
Go back to your definition of a carrier.
Yes.
A carrier does not show the condition, but is heterozygous and passes it on to the child. So, pass it on to the child we can have, but the fact is that they do show the condition. So they can't be a carrier.
But they can only pass it on to a girl child.
That's correct.
Ew.
So you wouldn't use the term carrier in this context. Did I answer your question, Abraham?
What was my question?
No, I can't remember.
Extra blind.
Oh, yes. Okay, so no. You happy with that? Okay. And so, this is not a genetic cross. So if you were doing a genetic cross, in this case, so the genetic cross that you've got to do here is, okay, you can do number 1 and 2 on page 7 for homework, the top 2.
Wait, Mom,
Mm.
can I just confirm? Males can't be a carrier because they can't be heterozygous.
No, because the definition of a carrier is an individual for color blindness, who doesn't show the condition in the phenotype, but can pass it on to the offspring, can pass the allele on to the offspring. And because there's no such thing as doesn't show it in the phenotype, and because if he's not showing it in the phenotype, it's a dominant thing, he can't pass it on to his offspring. Okay, right, happy chicken. Okay. All right. Okay, then obviously the second problem at the top of page 7 says a couple has had 4 children. 4 boys. What is the probability that their 5th child will be a girl? And the answer is, Kwezi, go. Kwezi, your voice. What, love?
50%.
Thank you. For a brief time there, I thought it was a male answering that question. 50%, man. 50%, Kwezi. There's always males around you give you the answer. Okay, you happy with the 50%, and you can show in the form of a diagram how it happens, because this is the diagram here. And so every time they have a child, there's a 50% chance of it being a girl, 50% chance of a boy. Okay. All right, so let's do problem number 1 at the bottom of page 7. Okay. So, all right. Hemophilia is a recessive, sex-linked genetic disorder caused by a defective gene. Who does history? Tell me about this.
Yes,
Hemophilia is when your blood doesn't clot or something like that.
Not my blood, I'm fine. Okay. Right. So, you. Shh. Or else you're not going to go home today. Okay. So, Russian Revolution and Rasputin and Queen Victoria and all of that, you all know how it all fits in here.
Yes, ma'am. No.
Okay.
No.
All right. So, guys. So, hemophilia is a recessive sex-linked genetic disorder. Just be careful, there are a whole lot of different versions of hemophilia. Depends on how there are different mutations for hemophilia. Okay, so remember, it just means that the blood doesn't clot. Okay, so it's caused by a defective gene on the X chromosome. So obviously it's a sex-linked thing, and it tells you that it's recessive, and it says females can be normal or they can be carriers. Females can be. Or they can have hemophilia. So their blood is unable to clot. Males will either be hemophiliac or normal, but they cannot be carriers. So there it shows you the possible genotypes. Just be really, really careful, because the symbols that have been chosen here imply that hemophilia is dominant, but it tells you in the text it's recessive. So don't go pear-shaped because of the particular symbols that they've told you to use. And therefore, it would be better if you were choosing your symbols, that the symbol would be X big N for normal and X little n for hemophilia.
Ma'am, they did do that.
Because it's
Ma'am, which page are you on, ma'am?
Ma'am,
I'm on page 7.
ours is the
Ma'am,
right
this
thing.
is
So,
wrong,
I see
ma'am.
what you, yeah, this is wrong.
You think
What?
you-
I don't know.
Wait, no.
What?
I think I'm not getting
What's yours?
He is right.
Man, I don't know.
Love, all you have to do is read it.
Read it,
No,
okay.
no, no, no. It's like
6 big traits.
No, guys, even I can read this. It says normal male. X to the big H. Why?
But
He's
man, that's
telling
not
me
what
they
you
did it
said.
okay.
Man,
It's
that's
not
not what
okay.
you said.
It's cockapoo.
Oh, you say it should be in, man.
Where's how?
Well, X to the big H implies that hemophilia is dominant.
But it says
Nobody
there.
says it's
No,
normal.
I know what you're saying, man. I know what you're saying.
Man, read properly, man. You can't. The table is saying the opposite.
No, but I've taught you how to do symbols.
And big H.
The letters for the symbols are wrong. That's what
The
that's saying.
letters for the symbols are wrong.
Must be correct.
No, it's fine, because they've told you to use those letters and those symbols. So they said to you, X to the big N, X to the H represents normal. Even I can see that that's an illogical thing. And that represents hemophilia. And guys, please, UK spelling of hemophilia, not US spelling. Okay, and then the alternative is obviously Y. Okay, so they said a woman who's heterozygous for hemophilia, so is married to a normal male. Okay. What are the possible phenotypes of their children? Use a full genetic diagram. Now this one, you're going to have to do a Punnett square probably. And it's terribly important that in sex-linked situations, you make sure that you include the gender of the offspring. Okay, so the F1 would be from this woman would be X big H. X little h is the gametes. X big H. X Y for the other gamete. So it's X big H, X big H, and that's a girl with normal, no hemophilia. X big H, X little h, that is a girl. Heterozygous, it's a carrier. X big H, Y is a male, and it is normal. And X little h, Y is a male and a hemophiliac. So there is a, be careful how they word the questions. If they say what chance of a male child with hemophilia, it's 50%. If they say what chance of a child with hemophilia, it's 25%. Longer.
How would you put if it's male or female? How would you put it if it's male or female in the test?
I'll write it in underneath here. I will make my Punnett square big enough. Okay. Right, guys, listen to me. Okay. Please make sure that you. Okay, you did the. I can see you dancing there. Do question 2 at the bottom of page 7 and do question 3 at the bottom of page 8. All right, go away. Thanks. Bye, Sam.
Wait, Mom, what should I say now? Oh,
Oh, Tina's also here. Bye, Bobbin.
end of first lesson. Damn.